I am Broadway, the lyricist, homie, just let me do my thing.
I'm on top, on my grind, I'ma always get it.
Listen, some lyrics are just words, but then you have them ones that really connect with you and they find you at the exact moment that you need to hear them. They kind of get into your system and they just change your perception of everything. For years, I carried this one verse in particular with me, and it felt important, but it took me a really long time to figure out why it resonated with me so much. Now, this isn't just about a great song. It's about how one of the greatest lyricists in hip hop gave me words for a feeling that I couldn't even articulate myself yet. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider hitting like and subscribing to the channel as I drop videos like this all the time. In 1994, a 20-year-old rapper from Queensbridge Projects named Nas dropped his debut album Illmatic. To this day, people will still call it a flawless masterpiece. It's a landmark album that completely reset the bar for storytelling and music. The production? Perfect. I'm talking about DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Large Pro, and they were blending these beautiful jazzy beats that had this New York City grit. The whole album had this vivid, unflinching look at the inner city. But there was always this one track that kind of stood out to me, and that was The World Is Yours. Now, the title itself, it probably could have been a nod to Scarface or something like that, but for me, it felt like so much more than that. It was like a bold declaration of ambition, like a promise that you, me, all of us could just make it. Now, when I first heard it, initially, I just loved the overall feeling and the energy that the song evoked, but it was that third verse that I just kept coming back to for some reason. I'm a young city bandit, hold myself down single-handed. For murder raps, I kick my thoughts alone. Get remanded, born alone, die alone, the crew to keep my crown a throne. It painted this vivid picture of someone that was desperately just trying to make it out their environment or their circumstance. It was such a stark contrast to the hope that the chorus was given. And that was a good description for how the hook made me feel. It gave me this hopeful optimism. But it was those next two lines in the verse that really hit me. I need a new nigga for this black cloud to follow, cause while it's over me, it's too dark to see tomorrow. There it is. That's what it was. It wasn't just a rapper that was talking about problems like poverty, violence, which the album itself covered from top to bottom. But this felt different. This was a young poet that was describing depression to my 12-year-old brain in a way that I could picture it vividly. Like a cartoon cloud literally hanging over somebody's head. That black cloud was the perfect metaphor for that internal struggle that made you feel like the future was impossible. And Nas gave that depression a name. The verse went on, trying to maintain, I flip, fill the clip to the tip, picturing my peeps, now they income make my heartbeat skip, now I'm amped up. There was more of that ambition in the verse. Now through the years, I've heard this verse millions of times, but the aha moment really hit me, and the reason why that verse hit me so hard was because I came to understand its place in the song. The genius of The World Is Yours, it wasn't just the gritty reality of the verse or the hope that was in the hook. It was that they existed in the same song. Nas wasn't just saying that life is either a desperate struggle or a triumphant victory. He was saying that it's both happening at the exact same time. You could be stuck under a black cloud so dark that you can't even see tomorrow, but still have the audacity to believe that the world could one day be yours. And that's what changed everything for me. The song became this anthem for resilience. It looked that crushing weight of despair right in the face without ever surrendering to it. It was like a blueprint for finding hope, not pretending that the struggle didn't exist, but by finding it right in the middle of everything. The darkness of the verse is what gave the hook its power. It wasn't just a hopeful song. It was a song for everyone who's fighting to find a reason to be hopeful. But ladies and gentlemen, that's my story with the verse. The beautiful thing about music is that it hits us all in a different way. So I do have to ask you, what's a hip hop lyric that changed the way you see things? Or maybe one that just connected or resonated with you in a way that you never expected. Whatever it is, drop it down in the comments below and let me know. I make videos like this all the time. So if you liked it, please consider subscribing to the channel. Nas's third verse on The World Is Yours was so much more than incredible writing. For me, it perfectly captured that thin line between poverty and possibility, between despair and destiny, and in doing that, it offered a release for me to kind of be understood. It told me that my struggles were real, but my dreams could be too. And that right there is why that verse hit me so hard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Peace. I guess we got to thank Jim Jones for helping Nas go viral. It wasn't like his body of work did it for him or anything like that, but don't pay me no mind.